Big Three was cool though, Matt.
Yeah, it was
Dude, Rashad McCants still can ball.
he can ball.
Better tune in and bring your whole crew in, cause this show's the shoe in. We choosing LeBron versus the 90s bullies. Who wins? Assuming that you win the right frame of mental. And just play the sound, we'll break it down, plain and simple. Keep a single point of view, we'll write the plural. And always stay 2 steps ahead like a Euro. You burrow, you can count the points like your block's late. And they gon' drop another hot take soon as this beat drops. Wait, already dropped one, the whole game's on lock, son. Your corner get Mossberg, the QBs and shotgun. The same debates held daily at your barbershop. Something making points fall quicker than a harder flop. Putting up appearances but with a rougher lexicon. Nothing but realness brought to you by upper echelon. Acknowledge haters with a tip of the crown. Residents of excellence just critting around. Yeah, we here. Residents of excellence just critting around.
Welcome back to episode 11 here of Just Critting Around. Our very first live episode on behalf of Justin. He's been wanting to do this since we started, and he's got it done.
We got it done.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's him over there. You hear his voice. Say something for the people.
We got it done. And we got it done, meaning Oklahoma City got it done. Paul George.
Well,
I don't care if it's a rental. I don't care if it's a rental.
We'll get to that. You save that for the people. Make them listen. All of our 1.5 listeners and still. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. Had a good weekend. I don't know if y'all heard the intro. Saw the big 3 up in Charlotte. I think Hugh got something on his hands, man. I think it might be a success.
There are a couple big players away from dude. I just think this was the perfect. We got into it last week. It's the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Best formula. But last but not least, our man Diggs, the man behind the camera. We're just gonna have to get like a cutout, not even of his face, whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, right.
Put it there.
Right now, he's kind of like the UE logo and like the Just Critting Around
That's
episode
cool.
11. I mean, he encompasses a lot.
Yeah, he's a big part of the show.
Can we animate him like the Jay-Z video? Or
Right.
just put some, maybe not quite like the Jay-Z video, but
Yeah.
some kind of animated figure.
Wait, yeah, 50 Cent said Jay-Z's new album is like golf course music.
Really?
Did y'all hear that?
Golf. I mean, if I'm being honest, before we get into the show, I think it's more of like an album. Like, it was a great album, listen through, but there's only like 2 songs I really will go back to and bump. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a really good album. It's definitely a grown up album. There aren't any bangers. You're not gonna go to the club and hear anything from that album. It's a good listen though. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good all in all. But enough of the music talk. That's not what we're here for. We're here to discuss sports. And with that being said, if you listened to our last episode, what did we say? We would start off with some football because we spent all episode long talking about the draft and the NBA. It was dominating headlines. So let's move on to the AFC predictions before we get into anything else NBA. Let's just start off first. I'm gonna toss it out to which one of you guys want to go first? We got any takers?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right, man, go for it. Give me your AFC prediction.
It's
division
real short.
Winners. Yeah, go for it.
It's real short. Patriots.
Yeah. Well,
That's pretty much
how
all
did
you
I
gotta
know
say.
you were going there? How did I know?
I mean, they're the best. They were the best team. They added Cooks. They added Gilmore. They didn't lose anything.
Oh my! They literally didn't lose anything.
I mean, what?
Oh,
changed?
they just got David
Tom
Harris
Brady,
from the Jets?
They got Harris too, and I mean,
Tom Brady got 1 year older. I mean, when does that? That's got to play a foot.
Oh, it's that
When-
like
when
a
is
gallon
that
more
gonna
of
play?
ice cream.
Right.
When is that?
Car-
gonna come back to-
He's gonna start eating cardboard 2 times a day.
Man,
It's
that
ridiculous,
guy's a
man.
freak.
That team is. I mean, they just set up to go. I don't know, another 14-2. At worst, maybe 13-3. It's ridiculous that, okay, so I know we always take it to our Madden League, but, at a certain point, don't the other teams got to decide not to trade players to the Patriots, especially teams in their same division, like the Bills?
Yeah, that's bad. But did he trade him or did he sign there?
No, Gilmore was traded there. I
Wow.
thought. I'm pretty sure.
No, Gilmore signed, I believe.
Yeah, I was
signed
gonna
it?
say
Oh, okay. Maybe
if
he
he
did.
was
Okay.
traded there, that's real bad.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Okay. I'm tripping.
That's real bad.
Same thing with David Harris. He was a free agent, so
Free agent, okay.
Look, it's like what we're seeing in the NBA. Let's everybody. It's the media has driven it. Media, social media, us, everybody.
It's all about rings.
Yes, it's all about the ring at the end of the day now. It's not about your legacy on the team. It's about your legacy on the league and history. How many rings you went and won, blah, blah, blah. The GOAT has to have rings. It's the truth of the matter. And
But
that's
the
just-
NFL is
Oh, but they're shifting. It's harder in the NFL to do that, yes.
Well,
You're
but,
right,
there's one thing, real quick. Deion Sanders, if he did not go to the 49ers and go to Dallas, we would probably be saying, oh, he was a great player, but he never got a ring.
Yeah.
But you don't mention him having rings, but you do mention him being a great player. But that would be an asterisk, I think, that would come up.
It's a little less focus in the NFL on that, but it's still a factor.
because it's a team sport. Yeah. I mean, I'm
yeah,
with
but-
you. I was just gonna say I'm with you. I think there's not much more we can say outside of the Patriots. This is the Patriots to lose.
Exactly.
I mean, you have a quarterback you just have a system that works with whatever quarterback you put in there. Jacoby Brissett. I think the interesting thing to see is what happens with Garoppolo. Maybe they get interested in Brissett's development per se, and they take him as the number. Instead of paying Garoppolo this offseason at $25 million or whatever quarterbacks make now, maybe Brissett moves up to the number 2 spot behind Brady, since Brady can play for X amount of years. He's an X-Man.
And then they'll trade Garoppolo and get
Yeah,
four first round
Yeah.
picks. And,
Oh,
and
they'll
2
trade
Pro
him.
Bowlers.
They'll get Cam Newton.
Right.
They'll get,
Exactly.
they'll get a house, everything. I mean, there's nothing to say outside. I mean, maybe the Steelers, if the Steelers can stay healthy.
Raiders.
And
Steelers, Raiders.
I think the Raiders are going to go
Raiders,
ahead.
yes, but this is like shout out to Jairus, like the experience. Is it there?
They got to the playoffs.
They got to the playoffs, but I mean, he broke his. Look, my dark horse. You say Raiders. My dark horse is the Titans.
The Colts are winning
Man.
that division.
Wow,
I'm more
first of all,
afraid
Colts
of
aren't
the
winning it.
Texans in the South.
Okay, but the Texans don't have a quarterback.
So you don't think,
They're
You
already
don't
thinking
believe-
way ahead about how can we
And
get
Deshaun Watson right now.
exactly, you don't believe?
Okay, I mean, as this way too early prediction that we're doing is how I should have prefaced the whole show. Is way too early predictions. No, Deshaun Watson's not doing anything this year.
All he has to do is be okay though. Like that's all they
Yeah, they
needed
have the
was,
defense.
was
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
they needed last year. Was
I just have a
defense
feeling
was
he's gonna get out and run, and he's gonna get popped and get hurt. That's my I think if he could just stay healthy, I think they could, but I just have a feeling that he's not gonna stay healthy. I mean, rookie quarterbacks, they get in there and the game is really complex and they use their feet and they end up getting popped and getting hurt, and that's just what I think would happen to
It's rare to have a Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. The guy.
What?
Well, no, he's a beast. He drinks. He fills a cereal bowl full of HGH and.
Yeah. Sounds like we got
he's an
a
animal.
hater out there. In Oklahoma City. Hey, do y'all
Anybody
even
got
have a
any
football
other
team?
dark horses
Man,
or surprises?
Dark horses. Look, I think we're just all content saying the Patriots is theirs to lose.
Yeah,
I think
basically.
the Steelers are close. You said the Raiders. Outside of that, there's not. Look, Diggs. Sorry, Colts ain't winning that division.
No, I
That
think.
division is ours again, man.
I think
No.
the Colts
Andrew
win
Luck ain't even
6
healthy.
games.
Who's
Colt-
on the team anymore?
Colts are winning 6 games. That's my.
That's a reach. That is a major reach.
As in, they're gonna win less.
No, let's not.
Are you worried about Luck? I mean, Luck still's not progressing the way he
Luck's
should.
out of
He's
there,
not even
bro.
gonna be ready for the season.
Luck will be fine, man. I mean, yeah,
Look.
he says he's hurt, but I think he can. I don't think he's losing any arm strength, to be honest. He just needs to relax.
You know what we should do for next show?
They need to help
We
him
should-
out a little.
Our next show,
Yes,
we
they
should
do.
have a top 5 or
Absolutely.
10, a top 5 quarterback rankings.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that next
Yeah,
show.
interesting. Yeah,
Diggs,
next show.
Diggs, write it down.
Diggs.
Write it down.
Right.
I got it.
Come on,
What
man.
about Pittsburgh? Will Pittsburgh challenge the
See,
Patriots?
that's the only one I can think that would challenge them. I don't think Denver's on par. They don't have the quarterback. I mean,
When does
Paxton Lynch
Pittsburgh
can
ever
surprise
challenge
us.
them though? They always seem like they're gonna
Yeah.
challenge them and then they get blown out.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's never a
their
challenge.
defense is too slow right now for. I mean, the way New England plays, it's not revolutionary, but it works for them like so perfectly. Like nobody's. I mean, the only way you can figure it out is to sack Tom Brady every play, which does not happen. And it's to me, if the Patriots lose, it would be because Tom Brady got hurt. 100%. That team is too loaded right now. Brandon Cooks will have probably, even playing with Drew Brees, he might have a better year with Tom Brady now than he did with Drew Brees.
But the one year that Tom Brady had a real weapon, Randy Moss, they went undefeated in the regular season. Who they lose to? They lost to Matt's Giants in the Super Bowl. So
what does that have to do?
I think because I think they sometimes the Patriots that by getting Cooks, they could be their own worst enemy because it'd take away from some of their other because they spread the ball around, they use that dink and dunk, and once they start focusing on him, and he's going to put up good numbers all throughout the season, and then you get to the playoffs and your other parts of your offense aren't in sync and exactly where they need to be. I think that's
your first
what you
receiver
get
in fantasy that you pick up. You pick up Cooks, you pick up Julio.
I'd go AB.
I'm not
Antonio Brown would be my first receiver taken, and
not
for
Cooks. Sure. I'm going Antonio Brown's a good one.
Odell, Julio. I don't know. They spread the ball around so much in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Julio's a monster.
Odell's got Giants got so many weapons.
One.
I don't know if Odell.
I'm taking AB all day, every day.
That's who I would take too.
Him, Dez is consistent.
I don't know about this.
You like the Giants, so you're biased.
No,
anyway.
I'm just saying in general, like he'll easily have a one catch game and won't blink an eye.
Well, I guess with Dak now. I mean, there's no gunslinger back there.
Right.
But Cooks would definitely be a good one to put in there. I don't know about first pick, but he's gonna put up some big numbers.
Definitely not first wide receiver. No, he's not gonna be a top 4 receiver taken. Maybe because they still got Edelman and Gronk, and there's still a lot going on over there.
Yeah. See what's up.
Another thing, another team I think you should look out for, at least when they play the Patriots, the Ravens. They always play them well. I don't know.
Have they made any moves to?
That's what I'm saying. They lost a lot of.
I know, but I don't know, man. It's like they just it's like a huge battle between the two of them every time they play. I don't know. If they get the right opportunity, I think they could potentially knock them off.
I mean, you know what Brady hates. We talking about that Super Bowl. Brady doesn't like that pressure, especially up the middle. So that's why I look at Raiders. That's why I look at Texans. They have that front four.
The Texans honestly would probably be the best matchup for them. And Bill O'Brien kind of knows that system.
Yeah, but I think that's also an advantage for Belichick and Brady.
Yeah. Because they know what he knows.
Yeah, it's always the master. It's like, all right, there was it's the name, or it's escaping me on somebody that just they played each other. No, it was I was watching All or Nothing with the St. Louis Rams on Amazon. But who did they? I'll think of it as the show goes on. I'm trying to think who they played.
Well, do you got anything to add, Diggs? You got any more dark horses while we toss aside this NFL thing for the major moves, the major news?
No, I didn't. I mean, that's pretty much my dark horse, man.
It was. Go ahead, Diggs. Sorry.
No, dude. You got it.
No, I'm just saying the Saints defensive coordinator. What was his name? The one that got fined.
Ryan?
No, the one that got fined and thrown out of the league.
Yeah,
so he was the defensive coordinator with the Rams, and the Rams were actually doing the start of the season. They won like 3 games, and then they go play the Saints a few games after that, and the Saints offense destroyed the Rams defense. And that's kind of the same thing with Belichick going to the Texans and with O'Brien. Anyways,
Yep. All right, well, let's
over with.
Yeah, we're gonna move on over to the.
That was a rough, tough choice.
We'll gear up. It'll be live once more free agents get picked up and.
Well, it's the NBA dominates. The NBA has the formula figured out. There is always something going on with the NBA. Literally always.
Well.
Always.
All right.
But this is honestly one of the first
right now,
times,
did you know there's like over 100 something players who are still unsigned as free agents right now?
Yeah.
And that's still they might not be the biggest names, but if you're a fan of NBA and basketball, those role players and what they bring to a team. And when you get them signed, you're excited for your team, as you were with. Who did you guys just get? Patrick Peterson, is that who y'all got?
Oh yeah, Patterson.
No, Patrick Patterson.
From the Raptors.
Patterson. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
From Kentucky, the shooter.
We're gonna be Look,
y'all needed more shooting.
I
think he'll be good. I think you can definitely challenge for the 2 or 3 spot. Why not?
2 or 3.
You guys got the bigs. You have the point guard who won't come off the floor if he doesn't have to. You're good to go.
Yeah, that's all I want. 2 or 3. I want to be in the mix. That's all I want.
Wow.
And anything could happen. Anything could happen. If somebody,
We'll be in the mix
Klay
out
Thompson,
here in the
if
East.
KD crumble,
anything
breaks
can
a
happen.
leg.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
if one
well,
of those
yeah,
guys
yeah.
get hurt, they're done.
Yeah,
I'm telling
that's
you.
what I'm saying.
They're not done though.
They're not. All right,
They're
they're
not
not done. But
done.
all right, but
Yeah.
if KD gets hurt, let's say
It's still not
all right,
done.
this is
Two
gonna
of them have to get
look.
hurt.
We're going back to the past here, but without KD, you think that Golden State team is beating LeBron again?
We're not talking about LeBron. We're talking about.
I know, no. I
Oklahoma
know,
City.
but I'm
Sorry.
saying LeBron is in the Cavs. I'm saying the team that's probably gonna make it out the East.
I mean, the team would have been different without Durant. Like it would have been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They
but,
would
like,
have brought somebody else in there, so I
so
think
they
it would
can
have been a
definitely still
closer
win the
matchup.
West. Oh,
Yeah.
last year they could. This year though, if they lose one of those players to Justin's point, but yeah, if they lose one of these players to Justin's point, then they'll
I still don't see OKC moving into that spot. I think it would be more like Houston moving in there, or the Spurs staying right there. I mean, I think OKC is a good 3-4. I still don't see them as on that top line personally.
I just don't understand Houston's decision with Chris Paul.
I don't either.
I mean,
They spent all that time to get Harden
can't-
to be a point guard.
I can't even judge it though because we gotta wait to see what happens. I mean, I think when you're that elite, you can work it out in the end. I'm not saying like once it gets to playoff time, they'll be fine. They'll be jailed fine, is my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure CP and Harden talked before that move was made, and I'm sure they, I'm sure they think they can formulate a way to make it work. I mean, Harden play off the ball. He played off the ball his whole career before last year, so I think it'll work.
And then, honestly, one of the reasons why Chris Paul, we totally just took your segue away, Aaron, but it's all good. One of the reasons Chris Paul, I've read that he moved from the Clippers to Houston was because he was fed up with the special treatment that Austin Rivers was getting from his dad.
That's wild.
So, to me, from the outside looking in, is how did they allow that to happen? How does Austin Rivers influence blow up a team basically?
Right. How does the owner not come in and say, look, if this is the issue, you need to get rid of Austin? Like that should never have been.
Ballmer doesn't know what he's doing. He's a fresh owner.
I don't see Steve Ballmer doing that, like checking him about that. But
no. I mean, to be honest, if you're an owner, I honestly think you should stay. Have a general manager and try to stay away as much as you can.
So what's hindering the Cavs is Dan Gilbert thinking he is basketball guru.
Right.
Yeah,
because
and
he got
Jerry
LeBron
Jones.
back. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this
Jerry
time
Jones,
and time again.
But to me, Jerry Jones isn't that bad. Jerry Jones kind of knows what he's doing.
He's gotten
He
better
understands
lately,
the game.
but
Jerry Jones will fall in love with the player.
yes,
Yeah, okay.
and they'll take somebody that they should not take in the draft, and that's
But recently
really screws
they
up.
have been. Recently they've been doing good.
Because,
he built that O-line.
He
Yeah,
did
that's,
build
all
that
his,
O-line.
that's all his son. His
I
son,
mean,
bro,
yeah,
making
I'm sure, but
decisions, bro.
he's probably in the room like this with us, like how we are talking.
Yeah,
And
but
honestly, he got super fortunate with Dak. Like,
Oh yeah,
they should have been garbage.
the
last year.
Patriots got fortunate with Tom Brady.
That's true. I mean, luck is a part of it. That is a big part of it. But
Yeah,
I still think, like you said, the owner needs to be hands off to a point. But if he heard any wrong, I'm sure Chris Paul has open door policy with Ballmer. If Chris Paul said, "Hey, look, I'm not appreciating the special, preferential treatment that Austin Rivers is getting," then the owner needs to step in at that point. There needs to be some kind of check for that, especially if you know that the coach has his son on the team. You should always be looking out and make sure that dynamic is working.
I don't think in the NBA and a professional sport you shouldn't have your son playing on your team. That's just it. Because there's no matter what, you could be.
high school's got to be the last.
Yeah.
Even if it's an
I mean-
imagine thing, you're gonna feel
Right.
like that player's getting preference.
Oh yeah, he could have gotten an extra OJ before a pregame breakfast. They'd be like,
I mean,
"Oh,
he
it's because
gets
you're your
that
coach's
extra 2
son."
minutes when somebody else probably deserves it. Whatever.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I don't know.
mean,
That just shouldn't
yeah.
happen.
Deserve 2
But-
minutes, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will say he got better, but when he first got there, he did not deserve to play as much as he did. That is for
No.
sure.
No.
But enough of the Clipper drama is what it is.
Well, Blake managed to go back there, so it must
Couldn't be that bad.
The money was calling, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When
Yeah.
you're getting
Yeah.
hurt all the time and somebody throws all that money at you, I'll take it too.
They gonna be
And now you're the
garbage next year.
star. Yeah, they will be garbage, 100%. But Blake's gonna shoot 30 times a game now.
Is that good?
No,
good
but
for
it's
him.
yeah, it's good for him. Yeah. I mean, other than that, just a couple moves to name. Taj Gibson to the T-Wolves. Obviously, Paul George traded to Oklahoma City. Yippee, Justin.
I wanted to keep Taj, but I mean we got Patterson, so I think it's
it's
fine.
a little swap. It's two different kind of players, but
Yeah.
Rubio was traded down to Utah for a 2018 first round pick.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah, I
Why?
was too.
What surprised you about it?
I thought Rubio would be good running that team.
See, but he can't shoot.
Yeah, he
But they
can't
don't
at
need him
all.
to shoot though. Why do you
Yeah.
need him to shoot on that squad?
But that's the thing. They wanted more shooting, is like to space the floor. When you're
Like besides Ron Harper,
because all he can do is drive.
yeah,
Literally, Rubio's drive, and he can make hell of a pass and shoot the corner three.
Right.
But other than that, he's not really looking to create his own shot, nothing like that. I guess they're going to rely on Tyus Jones. They got, obviously, Jeff Teague. That's another move they made. I think the T-Wolves have themselves a nice little squad.
Yeah, for real.
I think if they matured the right way this offseason, I mean, I think Andrew Wiggins is poised for a big year. Karl Anthony Towns yeah.
I said they're 1 year away. I think next
You still
year.
think 1 year?
Yeah, I think next year they're going
Man,
to challenge.
Yo, all right. I've had this discussion with you guys, with JRS, obviously, and with my friends that I live with around here. Do you think that the Sixers are a playoff team? 40 wins.
in the East, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yo,
Now
okay.
they are.
They
people
don't-
are trying to tell me that I'm crazy for thinking this.
No,
They're not gonna
they-
do
And I'm
anything in the
saying if they
playoffs.
stay healthy, they can definitely get 40 wins. They
Yeah,
had
if they're
28 last
healthy,
year with
yeah.
the hurt squad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, at least
Nice.
five.
thought I was
I
gonna
think they
some
can get if they
pushback
stay
on that
healthy.
one, man.
But they're still going to. They're not going to be able to beat the more experienced
No,
teams.
this is-
and
what-
the-
but
even
who-
in the
the
East.
East
Who other
is-
than Cleveland?
Like I think,
Who can't they beat?
I still
in the
think
East?
Miami
They can't beat Boston.
Oh, in
is.
Boston. Yeah,
Yeah,
Cleveland and
Boston. I still think
Toronto.
the
I don't think. Yeah, they can beat Toronto. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean,
put
Toronto's
them
that
money with
regular
Toronto.
season team,
Yeah.
man.
But you have a lot. When you play these teams, experience comes into play a lot, in my opinion.
I mean,
in the
yeah,
playoffs.
but regular season games, man, that team is good enough to. I don't care what people say. We've never seen Ben Simmons play. He's a 7-foot guy who he doesn't need to score. He prefers to pass, which
Right.
is why they didn't want Alonzo. They took a Markel Fultz who, have y'all been watching Summer League? The man's
getting
pretty
off.
good.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
getting off.
He's
Yeah,
banging.
I think
and
that team
Jalen
is
Brown
good.
looked really good too.
Man,
think of
which-
that.
Jalen
which
Brown
y'all-
was good last year.
Tatum looked good.
Tatum is-
Boston has a-
yeah.
That's one thing,
Embarrassment of riches.
real quick, because I don't know if we're touching on, and I talked to you about this a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have Tatum, you have Hayward, and you have Jalen Brown. I mean, but Jalen Brown doesn't quite have, but Tatum and Hayward have like identical games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can rotate.
But you don't.
That's what's good.
In my opinion, I don't want somebody coming off the bench that plays identical to a starter. I want the bench for them to have to game plan against a 6-man that brings something different to the table.
Okay, I mean, I can feel you on that. Like, have a Sean Livingston come in and
Right, because he's a totally different game. That's what
no.
I like, and so I
I totally feel that. It's like two different lineups at that point,
right.
and that makes sense. And that obviously, I'm a proponent of that. But I think in the same sentence, it's still good to have somebody who's the same, because then there's no drop off on the floor.
Right. There's no drop
And
off.
everybody knows the same plays, and you don't have to have a certain unit running with that guy. You can just plug and play at that point. Oh, Gordon Hayward's having an off night. Let me put Jason Tatum in there. Oh, Jaylen Brown's hitting all his threes right now. Let me keep him in there.
Which is good. I just don't know how that's going to work, because I've never seen a team with like
three. It's a stable, so
I haven't
it's
seen
not like-
people with 3
I mean,
small
but
forwards.
That
But think
about it,
position
it's-
is the position in the NBA right,
Right.
now.
And it's small
wants
ball,
that,
too.
Yeah,
Like-
everybody wants that 2 through 4 to be like the same player. They
Yeah.
want to all be able to handle the ball and shoot, and all those guys can do that.
they
Which-
can,
I
they
mean-
can. Yeah.
Yeah, so if they get in there at the same time and put Hayward at like shooting guard or
Oh,
Tatum,
yeah, they'll go. Their small
They
ball lineup will be kind of deadly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
yeah.
I think Tatum will be in for a shock when he has to guard LeBron one time. But other than that, that's it.
Speaking of the Cavs,
What's up, man?
I was a little shocked. Well, I ain't gonna say shocked, but what y'all think about Corver getting that 3-year deal? Y'all think that's a good look?
When I saw it, I was kind of shocked myself. Dude, in the playoffs,
He just struggled in the
He did
playoffs.
nothing.
Oh my
man.
god, yo, the finals, him and D Will. Yo, if I see that they signed D Will,
Yeah, that'll piss
Dog.
me off.
yo, I promise you,
Yeah.
I promise you, I'll burn that Cavs hat on air.
When Corver first came in the league, he was like he wasn't just a shooter. Like they had him labeled as a shooter, but I mean he played good defense
I
for.
mean, he's a good team defender still.
Yeah, he did
But
alright.
as he's gotten older, like you don't see him, pump faking and driving to the lane and pulling up a mid range or getting
because
getting to
the scouting report for Kyle Korver is you make him dribble, you win.
Right.
Yeah, but earlier in his career in Atlanta, like he was,
Yeah.
pump faking and getting that mid range. I don't see that. I didn't see that at all. But I only really, watched him in the playoffs.
So this is obviously a little random, but still NBA. You guys all saw what's his name? Monte Ellis got cut by the Pacers, right? Bought out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my dream scenario. Why not? Cats go pick him up. It's all about the rings, Monte.
That'd be a good look for them.
So-
I don't know how much money he wants, but that'll be a good.
Take the vet minimum. If I'm LeBron, I'm like, yo,
Oh, he got
here.
bought out. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll be like, yo, here you go. Keep a couple, or like give him a couple LeBrons, Kyrie. You got some shoes. Like he good to go. He should definitely check them out. I mean, there's a tons of super teams now that you can check out, but
How old is Monte? Is he at that
probably
age
30.
where he has to start ring chasing now?
yeah, oh yeah, for
He
sure.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. He was Golden State for a couple years.
Yeah,
when Steph
before
Curry
Steph.
was-
Oh, he was crazy athletic when he first came to the league.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
that's
still
him,
athletic,
that's
but
it right there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All in all, is this what's your rant about? Is this what it's about? The super teams? 'Cause you just told me.
no. So okay. So we
I mean,
ready?
do you
Are
wanna
y'all
get
ready?
into it?
Are y'all ready?
I mean, what's it about?
we could get into it. It's about the NBA imploding in 2025. I mean, I talked about it a little bit
2025,
last year
bro.
because that's
Yo,
when the
time
TV
out.
contract
Yo.
ends.
Yo, hold up.
So that's 8 years away. I said 5.
All
I had
right.
to,
No,
after
no, no.
much
Not even-
research, I moved
It's
it.
not even about that.
'Kay.
It's
up?
my thing is, what are you? What you're just driving your car and you're like, yo,
Bro, I
NBA.
think my mind is working
the
24/7.
NBA is about to blow up in 2025.
I think.
You
Yeah,
see- you're
well,
on, like,
because that's what- okay.
Conspiracy.net.
Okay, y'all can ask questions towards the end. Let me
All
go
right,
through
okay.
some of these
All right, go
things
ahead.
I'm sitting
and
back.
try to listen. Act like you're paying attention in class for once, Chris.
I
And
got you.
just see if this makes sense because this is not my own opinion. These are all facts. And Diggs, chime in too. Okay, so here it is. ESPN is paying $1.47 billion per year, and Turner TV Network is paying $1.2 billion per year. All right, so $2.67 billion per year to have the rights to broadcast. I think it's 187 games. Okay, every cable satellite subscriber pay ESPN, and there was 100 million subscribers. Now there's about 85 million, but they $30 a year goes towards the NBA. No matter if you watch ESPN or not, just by being a cable subscriber, that's what happens. That's where your money goes. Okay, so if they keep hemorrhaging subscribers, the NBA's new deal would have to change drastically. Now, let's just say ESPN didn't bid on the new deal in 2025, and they said the NBA, you're going to have to do it your own way. You're going to have to stream and stuff. They would have to take 10 million people that would pay $270 per year to watch the NBA games. Kind of like a NFL ticket type deal. But the NFL ticket has 2 million subscribers, and obviously there's a lot more football fans here in the United States than there are basketball fans, at least fans that watch the games on TV. So I don't see that happening in 2025. Twitter, Facebook, Amazon, they have no interest in losing money. You fast forward to 2025, or let's just take Twitter for instance. Twitter, they put in they got a $10 million. They put in a bid for $10 million to get the NFL like co-streaming Thursday night games for 10 games. Well, they lost it for this next year. Amazon got it and they bid $50 million. Twitter turned that $10 million and they netted $15 million in ad revenue. So it was a great investment. Amazon, because of the way they're able to, see what people are looking at to buy, and they can customize ads to cater to them. They paid $50 million. That was, that's a multiple of 5. That's a pretty big jump in 1 year, but they saw an opportunity and they seized it. So let's fast forward to 2025, and let's say that cable and satellite subscribers that watch ESPN goes down to 40 million subscribers. Now, it might not go down to 40 million, it might stay at 50 or 60, but we can all say that people are cutting the cord, and it's going faster and faster, right? So so to say 50 to 40 million subscribers, I don't think that's a reach, quite frankly, in year 2025. So a feasible bid that, since they were able to spend $2.67 billion, and that's just mostly because they have a lot of subscribers.
But can I just get in?
Yeah.
All right. The thing is, I mean, what you're saying, it makes sense. What you're getting towards, but you're kind of using the model that they have today. Like, who in 2025, who's to say what's going on today is how it's going to be going on?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
so, I agree. And so towards the end, I actually cut it down and say, okay, so let's just say, it's 2025. Let's say ESPN and Turner, they're going to bid on the new NBA rights to broadcast the games. But they lost a lot of their subscribers, which you guys can probably agree that that's going to happen in 2025. Just 15 million subscribers have been lost in the past year and a half, 2 years. You could see that, especially as millennials start getting out there, they're going to cut the cord. The average viewership for a nationally televised NBA game was 1.2 million viewers. So 1.2 million people watched on average every NBA game during the season. There's 143 games broadcast during the year and 44 postseason games, so 187 games. So ESPN and Turner are paying roughly $14.278 million per game now. So in the future, they will have to take this down to roughly $7 million per game on a new deal if they lost half their subscribers, because that's what they're banking on. They're actually banking on their subscriber count growing, which is a model that I don't know how they have, especially in the age we live in, but they're going to have to cut that down. They're not going to have the subscribers to do that, to substantiate paying that much money. So what if Amazon co-streams games, or, Twitter, Facebook, Google, when that happens? 2 million people watched Thursday Night Football last year on Twitter, and 15 million still watch those Thursday night games on their TV. So 17 million total, but 2 million watched from their phones on Twitter for the Thursday night game. Amazon saw these stats, and they paid $5 million per game for the new deal to basically reach 2 million viewers. Maybe they think they can reach more, but 2 million to be safe, because that's what they saw last year with Twitter. That's how many people watched it on the stream. So roughly there's 11% of viewers are going to stream the game, but right now 89% are still going to watch on their TV, at least for the Thursday night game. So we know this is going to change, and more viewers are going to watch on their phones. But apply that logic today to the NBA in numbers, and 132,000 would stream every game, and a total of 1.068 million would watch from their cable boxes. If we applied that logic to the NBA and there were co-streaming, Twitter, Facebook, if they were to stream games today. But it's going to be quite a bit different in 2025. And let's just say that 600 out of the 1.2 million people that watch, let's say half of them only watch from their TV, cable boxes. I think that it might be a little more than that, but let's just say half. So that's 600,000 people that will watch from their cable boxes, 600,000 people that would stream. So now the only thing that TNT and ESPN could offer would be around $1 billion. Okay. There's just not enough cable subscribers to substantiate a larger offer than that. But if they're going to have to split streaming with like a Twitter, a Facebook, they're not going, that offer still might be a little rich. So if you look at Amazon's payment for, what they're going to be paying per game, and let's just say that the NBA grows slightly, which I kind of have my doubts. If you apply the model that Amazon used to pay for NFL games, that would basically equal about $280 million that Amazon would be able to pay for the rights to stream, NBA games. 187 games, they could pay $280 million in order for them to reach the same viewership that they reach with the NFL deal. So that money works. That logic works with Amazon. It would be $280 million was what they would be able to pay. So we take $1 billion that ESPN and Turner will be able to pay. We take $280 million, and maybe Amazon could bump that up to $500 million or $600 million if they could reach more viewers, because the viewership probably will grow to 2025. And you have anywhere from, 1.2 billion to 1.5 billion for the new NBA contract for rights for the TV. Do y'all see a problem with that?
My question is this only pertaining to the NBA?
Yeah, this is just the NBA.
Well, how? What about other sport leagues?
Because other sport leagues and the NFL has its own set of problems, but they don't. Some of their TV contracts are, with Fox. Fox is a little
NCAA. Like they're getting paid. Like Texas got like $1 billion TV deal with ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN paid that.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
why did they pay it? Yeah, I'm asking you. This is one of the problems that
why
ESPN
did they pay
has.
It,
That's ESPN's problem. That's not
just
college
bad
football's problem.
investment, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, see,
exactly.
I agree with you in the extent that I think, like you said, ESPN has an issue, but the NBA is, like we said last week, they're gonna find a way to monetize.
Right.
I'm giving you the
like
stats.
It's a growing league.
I feel like everything is going a la carte from here forward.
Right.
We see it with cord cutting. We see it with, so say, just like, okay, if you watch Suits on USA or whatever you watch, and you go to the Play Store or the Apple Store and you want to go watch that episode from last night, it's gonna cost you $199, $299.
Yeah.
Why can't the NBA do that?
Just pay per game.
No, they absolutely could.
Watch the Cavaliers game tonight for 99 cents. So okay,
but
so
they don't make nearly as much money. It's a fraction of the price.
But they're still getting. But if they're the ones streaming it, they would be getting paid the advertising money.
Exactly, they get all of that.
No,
if it's an NBA channel, so like if UE Upper Echelon wanted to put a commercial in there, they'd have to pay the NBA money for a spot on there, like a Super Bowl.
But the advertising dollars aren't that. You just heard what I said. Twitter spent $10 million and they made $15 million. So they made 50%. It was a great return, but it's nothing like what even Amazon reached with as much of theirs.
We're in the infant stages of streaming.
But you don't understand. Twitter, Amazon, they know what they're going to make in advertising. They know their cost per customer. They know how they can make money. ESPN's model is not on advertising. ESPN's model is on subscribers. TNT's model is on subscribers.
ESPN. All of that's going to change going forward.
It will.
Everything is going to be a la carte. So okay, if the NBA came to you tomorrow and said, Justin, we have this Oklahoma City Thunder package. You can get every Thunder game, a la carte, every game for 99 cents, or you can buy the whole season for $40. Would you do it?
Yeah, but the 99 cents is really low
for you. You know what I'm saying? And then multiply that times the amount of people who will watch their team, plus the Cavaliers, plus the Golden State Warriors, and they just pay per game and they pay per package. They're going to make a lot of money.
They're going to make a lot of money, but they're not going to make $2.67 billion to pay their players. And all I'm saying, because just the math right away, there's not that many people that do that. First of all, there's only like.
What was the topic of your thing? You said
the NBA will implode. And what I mean by implode is there's going to be a lot of people that get laid off. There's going to be a lot of salary cuts, big cuts, like not small cuts, big cuts. We're talking about. The next TV rights deal is going to be close to probably around half of what it is now, maybe a little more. And that's, a ways down the road, and we're not even factoring in inflation. I think there's just a big problem that's going to happen next time they go to renew their contracts because there was poor management now and giving these players these huge contracts and go ahead, because the players, bargaining for it, but they're basically giving all of it away now and in the future, and they need to be reserving some of this.
But that doesn't make sense because if you're not giving it to the players, who's taking it? The owners.
No, you need to put it. You need to invest it and stick in, gradually. You're not okay, Matt. You're a plumber. You charge like $100 and something an hour, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You can't assume that next year you're just going to start charging $250 or double your price, right? It'd be almost impossible for you to get work because of the competition. All I'm saying is they gave these players too big of a jump way too quick. They should have leveled this out and been smarter with the money than just, spending it all right away. See, invest it with a wealth manager. The
NBA, Adam Silver's going to go walk to a wealth person.
They already have that. That's what
I'm sure, but I'm saying like the players, the whole part of the CBA is the players are saying, I want that money.
Right, and because the players aren't going to be, some of these players aren't going to be around in
like
2025.
It's like what LeBron said. What was it? The Golden State Warriors before Steph were worth up 450 million. Now they're 2.5 billion.
So
right.
So without Steph Curry, that doesn't happen. And other than that, he's getting underpaid if he's still getting paid 15 or 11 a year that he was on last year.
I agree. I think players like Steph Curry should be compensated.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my gosh, bro.
But I think the Otto Porter's getting $100 million, $20 million a year. Otto Porter's a $3 million a year type of guy.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I feel like, I think the contracts are going to change. I don't think they're just going to keep growing exponentially. Like, I don't think it's going to be, the next set is going to be 50 million a year. The next set is going to be 60. I think it's going to change, like maybe have some revenue sharing or something going on into the contracts instead of just this is what you get paid. I think the players would like that.
I think there's smart people working for the NBA that saw
Chris,
the second highest rating since 1991 for a finals.
But
behind Michael Jordan
all of the regular season was down.
Oh, but so was the NFL's. But you weren't complaining about that.
Because we're not talking about the NFL.
But what's the difference, though?
There was
they're both a major league. They both make the two most money in America for sports.
Chris, I know you were young when the last recession happened, but there was a lot of us smart people in the United States. And there was about 4 people that could see what was brewing underneath with these, mortgage bonds.
All right, comparing a country going into a recession to I'm saying the NBA is a league that is not going to let itself just I
don't think it's not going to go under, but they're going to have to make drastic changes when that next contract rolls around. People are going to all the new contracts, like Steph Curry getting what he got now in 2025. They're going to have to take a big pullback until they figure it out, and they should have changed a lot of this before they went into this new agreement with with the new contracts and the new.
My thing is, there's always going to be consumers. In 2025, there's going to be more people on Earth that want to consume it. We're all going to.
Are you sure?
If the Earth implodes, then
let's I think it's. I don't think it's going to pace.
Disaster.
NBA is not going to pace what it has been. Like it's not going to grow as fast as it has
plummet
been.
Back down to MLS level.
Yeah, I don't think not at all. But I'm just saying, staying around the same, maybe growing at a 3% rate. They're in trouble.
Right now, they're in the stage of branching out into other countries. So people are sooner or later they're gonna figure out a way to monetize.
Yeah, but they've been trying to do that for
100 billion people, and
they've been trying to do that a long time.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that is the solution. But there's
pull that off in China. That's a wrap.
Right, China, Mexico City, then you good. You get into them markets, you straight.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know, geopolitical risk and different things and going into other countries that we'll see. We'll see.
That's how I feel. I feel like they will.
I mean, every team has a Spanish.
I'm saying they're obviously not going to go completely under, but it's going to be a shock, and it's going to be
title did not help that. The NBA will implode.
It will. I mean, you could implode and still survive.
In 2025, I'm gonna be watching LeBron James Jr. run the league, regardless.
Yeah, and getting half as much money as his dad got, unless there's changes made. I'm just saying what I'm seeing, and I don't know. I mean,
what's it based on? I guess you can't base it on anything because
it's based on numbers, unless something drastically changes and there's, I don't know, 2 million babies born next year, and in 2025 there'll be 8, and they all want to watch. They all want to watch basketball, and they want to pay ESPN. They want to pay their cable subscriptions.
That and soccer are the 2 highest ones. I feel like. I mean, the NFL
I honestly don't think. Yeah, the NFL is obviously going down just because a lot of kids or parents are holding their kids out because of concussion problems and what they see in the news. So I do think the NBA grows a little more there, but I honestly think sports in general are starting to slide a little bit just because of the devices being in kids' hands. They'd rather be playing Minecraft and etc. But I do think the NBA is on a better.
Okay. All right, but then people are paying to watch MLG.
Yeah. So maybe MLG takes over the NBA. I don't know. 2025, you're going to see drastic changes. I'm sure they'll probably see it coming before then.
About the internet, Justin?
I don't get it. What's up? What's good about
This
it?
is gonna be here on 2025.
Oh, it's going to be great. And I'll be like, Chris, remember what I was talking about? And I'm sure we'll see. But when there's a lot of layoffs, when maybe there's some consolidation from small market teams.
What is Jarris gonna talk about if that happened?
The
great days of John Wall.
Yeah. He's going to be like, sorry, we don't even have the Wizards franchise anymore. He doesn't even have a basketball team to root for. And
So
I would be like,
the NBA is gonna hit a recession.
Yeah.
Like,
and they'll be like small market teams. Okay,
oh,
you don't
they're
bring
just
enough
gonna
to the
shut down
table.
Half the teams they're gonna say Milwaukee, you're done. We're going back to the original whatever.
Yeah. I can see
No.
smaller market team. I can see like 4 or 5. The teams that don't make money, which there are quite a few that barely break even, is. I'm not talking. I'm just talking
Right
about the
now,
concessions and
As of
everything.
right now, people are willing to pay for it. Is my opinion.
I agree, but you don't understand the difference between ESPN, getting up there and writing a check, and people subscribing online. The profit margins are a lot slimmer, and we've seen this in everything. And that's what I'm saying. If the profit margins are slimmer, where's the money going to go to pay the player salaries?
All right, what is it? What's 2017 right now?
Yeah, 2020,
That was
2025.
the thing. My first thing is, how do you know in 2025 what kind of devices they're gonna be? Like, what? Like, we have fiber stuff now, like cable, whatever. Like, who's to say there's not somebody doesn't invent something?
It'd take a long time to get rolling.
The difference in a smartphone from 2008, 2009, and today. Nobody wanted to watch anything on a smartphone in 2009. I had a little Motorola X. It was the biggest phone on the market. I think it was a 4-inch screen. It was a 4-inch screen. It was Motorola Droid X.
Yeah, but
nobody wanted to watch anything on that, and that was the biggest phone on the market. But now everybody will watch anything on a Note 7, a Note 8. Like things changed drastically in that amount of time.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna change, but not a lot. I mean, if you you pick up my phone, you pick up the iPhone from 2007. Yeah, the screen quality is not gonna be great, as good as it is now. But essentially, we haven't made like crazy progress. I don't see. I see fiber maybe being in more places, so you have faster internet. But I mean, for the most part, the internet's been the same, just a little faster speeds for a long time since early 2000.
20 years ago, do you think anybody in the world imagined there would be a time when somebody would rather watch a game from their house and the TV than go to the stadium? Like, did anybody see anything like that happen?
No.
No way. So who's to say in this next 8, 9, 10 years that next thing or whatever, like no, you can't see where technology is headed. And
we see NBA.
Well, this should be the
adapt. What about Atlanta? They have a bar courtside.
Right.
Yeah, but that gets money to that. That's very
the teams
small.
The teams pay the players though.
No, ESPN pays the players.
You were saying, but it goes to the NBA and they split it up between owners and
that's how the players get paid.
Yeah,
is because of the ESPN. I'm talking about the Hawks having a bar. Yeah, that's a great fan experience, and they could boost their ticket prices and ultimately make a little money for the owner. But I don't.
But like when you go into the luxury tax, that's not ESPN paying.
No, that's the owners because I mean there are billionaire owners.
That's a part of the salary.
Yeah.
So like they got to make money.
Yeah, a billionaire owners. Sure, I'll pay $40 million and win a couple championships.
I mean, clearly Dan Gilbert was hurting from it.
Yeah, that's because nobody buys fatheads anymore.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, Diggs, what do you think, Diggs?
The hot takes, straight out the oven.
The facts. I spit facts. Go research everything I just said.
I'm not. Look,
hit me in the comments if I'm wrong, people. I try to bring stuff to you before it happens.
8 years. Just think about in 8 years, you might be hovering around in the air, dude. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't
that's
think
true. All right. Well, I've been wanting to talk about this since Justin started his rant. Like, did y'all watch this Pac-Man and Joe Horn fight?
Crazy. I saw highlights.
Watching it.
Crazy.
I was loving it, and I thought Pac-Man was
What was that? The 9th round, Pac-Man was destroying this dude.
Like, I should have been ended. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't think anybody would say anything if the judge had to stop the fight right there.
If you look at the punch charts, it's like not even close. Like,
yeah, it's not even close. And
like
I saw something on Yahoo today from some sports columnist saying that they talked to two of Pac-Man's cornermen ringside, and they said that they lost, that they thought that Horn won. And I was like, what? No way. Like, there's no, like, if anybody who watched that fight, there's no way you can thought Pac-Man lost, especially in the way the card said. There was 2 cards that had him 2 points loss, and one that was 117 to 111.
Yeah,
So-
it was a
So why did Horn's ringmen come up after they're done and like basically like he won? Like as soon as the fight was over, they were lifting him up like
They do
already.
that in every boxing
Yeah,
match.
they do that regardless.
Not
If it's-
For the most part, if you guys are slugging it out, they're gonna be like, "We won that. We won that."
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes.
it seemed a little
You'll
different
see
on
it
this
in
one.
MMA too. Every time somebody doesn't get the decision, they're bummed. Every time they win, every time they go to the distance, they're like, "I won this." Blah blah blah. Like Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor.
Yeah, maybe it's because he was at home. It just seemed a little different because there's a lot of
There's
people
2
around him.
U.S. judges. They putting on a bad. Oh man, they're making us look real stupid.
Hey,
I mean, I think they're trying to set up the sport for the
Pacquiao
future.
said he was set up. He said he thought he was set up.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Pac-Man was in on it, so he could get that rematch and make another however many
Right,
$1 million.
right.
Just like I said about the Mayweather and McGregor fight. Like, I think I don't know, it's all a little suspect, man. I don't like that's the part of boxing I don't like.
Yeah.
You know that is so subjective because nobody else in the world saw Horn winning that fight. I saw Lennox Lewis, who's one of the greatest boxers of all time. He said it was ridiculous, the decision.
how
But if those judges say he won, then he won.
how is boxing that hard to judge though?
I mean, I guess it's kind of like MMA. It's like ring control and things like that.
But I mean, it's
There's
just
more
punches. You don't get to use anything but your hands.
But it's quality punches, though.
Right, I
somebody can
agree.
land 100, 150 jabs, and the other dude lands.
But that's like
30
Mayweather.
Power shots, and it
I
just
think
depends.
I think Mayweather lands a ton of just average punches.
Yeah, but he's not gonna let you land anything.
Exactly. You're
That's
not
the
gonna hit
thing.
him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree, but there's been some fights what I've seen with Mayweather, and it's like it
I mean,
definitely
that De La
hasn't
Hoya
been.
fight, like De La Hoya tagged him quite a few times, and that decision was controversial. That's like one of the only fights I've ever seen where Mayweather,
Yeah.
where it was a real close
outside
decision.
of when he cheap shot at that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I still don't think that was a cheap shot, man. To be honest,
I mean, it was legal.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess it was legal,
like,
yeah, but
you gotta defend yourself at all times.
yeah,
I saw something like that the other day. I think a few days ago. Somebody,
that guy was leaking. I think I saw the one you.
yeah, he like turned around, but the judge hadn't stopped the
There
fight,
was
and the
blood
other dude
all- man,
just
it
snuck
was-
behind him, and that was rough.
Like he was hurt. Like brain damage could have been possible.
And then his corner came out to fight the other
Oh
boxer
yeah,
that
started
hit him.
swinging on him. Yeah, yep.
That was
That's
crazy.
the one I saw.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that that kind of puts a black eye
I mean,
on
It
the
does,
sport.
but I mean, the good thing for boxing is, I mean, the next one might put a black eye on it too. They have 2 big super fights coming up. I mean,
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, Mayweather. It's not. I mean, that's a little different, but the Triple G and Canelo fight is like a one in a lifetime fight. Like
Yeah,
once in
that's
a
gonna be a
lifetime.
good fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Who's gonna judge the Mayweather fight? They ever already announced or will
Probably
announce when
Dana
they get
White. No, I'm just kidding.
closer?
I don't know. I don't know if they announced it yet.
Yeah.
I think McGregor's got a shot.
We'll see.
But, anybody got anything to add? Justin's rant was nice and all. Almost as good as the uncapped 30.
Oh, I got 2 things to add.
Go for it.
One, did y'all know that Derrick Rose was a free agent?
Yeah,
Like, how far
Yeah.
has his stock fallen in like 3 years? Like,
I
he
mean,
was the MVP not that long ago, and now I didn't know he was a free agent until I looked at the free agent list before the show.
that's what happens when you got bionic knees.
Right.
Like, that's
I
crazy. to me.
mean, he's still a good value. I think he's still a good player, but I think maybe he thinks his market's higher than it is.
So you think he's still looking for big money, and nobody's gonna
Probably
give him
looking
that?
for a decent amount of change. Yes.
But in today's NBA, like,
Yeah, they handed
Why
out. they
wouldn't he
handed-
get it?
They handed out to like youth, the athletic youth,
that's true. That's true.
the ones with the
Yeah.
higher ceilings.
And the other thing is, y'all think Bosch is a Hall of Famer? He's
No.
getting retired and getting his number retired.
I don't think he is, but I do commend the Heat for that. I saw that story, and I think that's great of them to retire his jersey in Miami. Granted, he kind of wrote the coattails of 2 guys, but
I think that was a slap in the face at D Wade. To be honest with you,
I mean, D Wade was.
Trying to get
He
back at him.
tweeted about it. D Wade ultimately
Bosch
would
is
get
not-
his jersey retired when
Yeah,
he
he'll get his
retires.
jersey
He'll get his
retired,
jersey
yeah.
retired.
For sure. Like, that's day one. He built that well, he revitalized that
Basically,
franchise.
I mean, that's D Wade's franchise right now.
Yeah.
When you think of Heat, you're gonna think D Wade until somebody else comes along.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
That's kind of fun to do, you know. Charlotte, who you think of? Like Larry Johnson, Muggsy Bogues. Oh, top hat, go
Charlotte.
for it.
Zoe and Larry Johnson, man, grandmama, dude, that was. I was actually. It was between them and the Bulls when I was growing up. I loved watching Charlotte. I wish they would have.
was nice. I had the Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
Right.
Back in whatever class that was.
Yeah. Larry Johnson, it was a beast, man.
Yeah, he was.
All right. Top hat time.
Top hat time.
Top hat.
So there's one in here on Chris Paul that we've already talked about. So if I draw it, I'll draw another one. All right. So this one's on Phil Jackson.
Get him out of here, man.
And Knicks part ways.
Get him out of here quickly. First thing smoking.
Yeah. I think that was an ultimate failure by New York. I don't know. It's kind of like, obviously he sticks with the triangle. It's a triangle offense, and it's proven not to work in today's NBA, or at least with Melo. And he still wants. I don't know.
But But he was the GM for the Knicks.
Yeah.
How could you
coach
coach the triangle from that
bringing in
spot?
coaches.
Yeah, he brings in coaches that he knows will do it.
Right.
He literally saying, "Hey, who's their coach right now? Hornacek? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
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 And who was it before that? Somebody else he wanted, Derek Fisher or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't understand that. It's like, you don't bring in a
would
basketball
say-
player to coach just because they're a great basketball player.
Right.
Like, they've got to have a bunch of other intangibles.
Couple things I learned from Phil Jackson is he loves international things. I mean, he drafted Porzingis, whatever his name is, last year, and who was the other one? Hernan Gomez. Those are his best draft picks so far, or them. That's it. That's all he's got is Porzingis, and Hernan Gomez is all he's got to show for his work while he's been there. A disgruntled Porzingis, no more Melo, who doesn't want to be there, but the owner wants him to be there because he doesn't want to buy him out.
Phil Jackson
He left it in shambles.
he's a great, I guess, personality manager for a team, but maybe not even. I mean, there was some stuff that happened in LA that you could kind of disregard that sentence, but I think honestly Phil Jackson's a little overrated.
Yeah, I mean,
Period.
who he coached his whole career.
He's an ego manager. He knows how to manage the ego as well. Well, he did know how to do it. He's horrible at it these days. But I think it was a smart move by the Knicks to get rid of him. I think it was idiotic timing. If they were going to do it, they should have done it before the draft and not let him draft his guy. Like, he could have had Monk. He could have had anybody, and he gets his kid out of France who runs the triangle. So why didn't they make that call before the draft if they were going to make it? And before, they could have got some of these free agents. Nobody wants to go there now. They don't even know who's going to be the coach, who's going to be the GM. So, I mean, I don't understand any of that, but I'm glad that it's over. Hopefully next year there'll be
You're a Knicks fan, right?
Yeah, I like the Knicks.
Yeah, it sucks,
Glad the
man.
era is over.
Yeah, you guys got a couple more years now of rebuilding again.
Yeah, it'll be at least 4 or 5 years before there'll be any kind of conversation.
You think they should trade Porzingis?
No.
Well, but in 4 and 5 years, though.
How could you have that large of a market and be down for that long?
Because they had a horrible office. Like, no matter what kind of market you have, if you have horrible people running your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, bad decisions. You gave Joakim Noah the dumbest contract I think I've seen in a long time.
Right.
I would have rather give Mozgov that money.
When I looked at that roster he put together with Noah and Rose, and
It was
Melo,
like 5 years ago.
Charles
Yeah,
Barkley
like,
helped Noah get
come
paid.
on. Huh?
I said Charles Barkley literally helped Noah get paid. Like, by promoting him all the time. Every time you saw Charles Barkley, would say,
I like this guy.
yeah, he was like the best. He's the best player, best big in the NBA. I'm like, no, he's not. He's hustles and he plays defense.
I think Noah was solid back in Chicago, but
He's a role player.
He was a shell of that when the Knicks got him and they paid him all that money.
Yeah.
Hey man, good for him. He's eating.
Jimmy Butler fields calls from new fans.
I like that.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
That was cool.
That was a great.
I thought that was a
real
very
cool
good
move.
promo stunt. Yeah.
So how did that exactly happen? Because I didn't read too much on that.
He was like at a press conference and somebody asked him a question about like somebody having a problem with him in Chicago or whatever, and he said, "If anybody's got a problem with me, you can call me at blah blah whatever his phone number was." and leave a message. And his actual voicemail said, like, hey, this is Jimmy Butler. Leave a message after the beep, especially if you got beef.
Dude, how many phone calls did that dude
Oh,
get?
he got so many. There's actually
thousands,
pictures of him like
thousands.
FaceTiming like fans.
Yeah, he actually talked to people.
It was a
like,
good
FaceTime
promotional
people,
stunt
text
because
people,
he knew what he was doing. And it was
Yeah.
perfect. He's
Actually, I
building
heard
his brand right now.
today that it was set up, that they already had it set up a couple of days before that, and that's not really his phone. It's one of his phone from one of his team, but it still was dope just for him to give his fans a few minutes to or even his haters a few minutes to to FaceTime with a face. Like that's pretty cool.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you hate an NBA star for the most part, you're still kind of hyped to see him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's an NBA player. Other than Draymond Green, that's cool.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
if you saw Draymond out to eat,
No, nope.
you'd be like, "Oh, Draymond, what's up, man?"
No, I would not. No, I promise you, I would not.
Hey, I would. I mean, I don't like LeBron at all, but if LeBron called me right now.
Oh, well, that's different though. LeBron's on a
hyped.
different stratosphere from Draymond.
I'm just saying, as a player that I don't like, if he called me, I'd be hyped, and I'd be all,
that makes
I'd be all.
I mean, like you give me like KD. I don't like KD, but yeah, I would be like, "What's up, KD?"
Yeah.
But nah, Draymond, he can kick rocks. Get out of here.
Well,
Is that it?
I think that'd be it.
Yeah. So about it.
Let's hear your
Cool.
closing skills, Matt.
My closing skills.
Yeah.
Give us.
For one, y'all check out the Big Three if it comes to your area. That was a really good experience. Definitely check that out. This has been episode 11 of Just Critting Around. We will see you guys next Monday live, I suppose, at maybe 8 to 9 o'clock
On SoundCloud too.
on SoundCloud and
That's
on
right.
YouTube. If you can't catch the live, catch the archive, and we will catch y'all next week.
Yo, he's dropping bars.
Ah.
Oh my gosh. What? If you can't catch the live, check the archive. That was good. I give you that.
Better tune in and bring your whole point of view, we'll write the plural and always stay 2 steps ahead like a euro. You
I think Matt-
you can
Matt
count
shut
the
it down,
points
man.
like your blocks late, and they gon' drop another hot take soon as this beat drops. Wait, already dropped.